In this series I covered the maximum core population of every single country that exists in Hearts of Iron 4, and today's letter is letter S. Today's episode is gonna be pretty long, and in my opinion one of, if not the most interesting episode of them all. Let's begin. The first country of today is the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, which is basically the Western Sahara. At the start of the game, they only core the state of Rio de Oro, with a core population of 21,000 people, having the lowest starting core population of any nations in the game. If you didn't know it, it's actually possible, but very hard, to restore Al-Andalus as Western Sahara. In order to restore it, you have to occupy these states in Portugal and Spain, and once you restore it, you're basically going to turn into Iberia with an extra core right here. After that, you'll be able to restore the Sultanate of Africa, the Emirate of Sicily, you can also recreate the Umayyad Caliphate. Besides that, you can also do the Northern Expansion Decision, as well as the Rashidi Expansion Decision. At the end of the day, you're gonna have core population of 142.5 million people. The next country is the Saga Republic. At the start of the game, they core 4 states with a core population of 446,000 people. Anyway, if you play as Saga and if you control these states, you'll be able to form a Siberian state, giving you cores on all of this, after which you'll be able to integrate the Far East, liberate the Ainu, and also push to the Urals. At the end of the day, your maximum core population is 27.47 million people. Our next country is Sardinia Piedmont. At the start of the game, Sardinia Piedmont cores the states of, you guessed it, Sardinia, as well as Piemonte. Plus on top of that, they also have a claim on the state of Savoy, but they cannot core it. Basically, no matter what you do as this country, you cannot increase your core population, which means that their maximum core population is 5.76 million people. Our next country is Saudi Arabia. At the start of the game, Saudi Arabia has a core population of 2.96 million people. Fun fact about Saudi Arabia, it has the least populated state in the game, which has 1 building slot. Meanwhile, Marrakesh still has 0 building slots. Come on, Paradox, fix this already. While you can't have a building slot in Marrakesh, you can increase your core population as Saudi Arabia. To get the maximum possible cores as Saudi Arabia, you have to do Unite Arabia decision. In order to unlock that decision, you have to control all of these states. After clicking on the decision, Saudi Arabia will get to core all of these states with a maximum core population of 48.14 million people, which is close to the population of the UK. And you know what's in the UK? It's Scotland. At the start of the game, Scotland cores 5 states with a core population of 4.7 million people. However, no matter what you do as Scotland or as any other country, Scotland cannot get any extra cores, which means that this is their maximum core population. Hey, at least they didn't get to screw up the capital. Our next country is the Second Brazilian Republic. Yes, Brazil ended up on part S because of the Trial of Allegiance DLC. Anyway, Brazil starts with a core population of 44.02 million people, and I'm gonna skip their maximum core population for now. You'll see why later. Our next country is Senegal. At the start of the game, Senegal only cores the state of Senegal with a core population of 1.64 million people. Despite having a 5 victory point city and even a railway, which is a miracle for this part of the world, they have only 1 building slot. And not only that, but they also cannot increase their core population no matter what they do, so yeah, no Senegambia or anything, which means that their maximum core population is 1.64 million people. Our next country is Serbia. At the start of the game, Serbia is a releasable country with 6 states with a core population of 4.24 million people. Some fun facts about Serbia: their non-aligned leader is literally King Peter using a generic portrait and slightly different name, so it's technically possible for him to fight himself. Besides that, they also have the anti-German military national spirit, just like Yugoslavia, but it really doesn't do anything besides giving them ideology-driven defense plus 5%. Also, their Democratic Party is Mihailovic Chetniks, and Draža Mihailovic is in the game with generic portrait, which is very rarely used. Them being democratic is a little bit crazy. Just imagine that the German Reich was democratic in this game. So yeah, they can increase their core population. Their maximum core population is 4.24 million people. Moving on to the most based warlord nation. At the start of the game, Shangai cores 3 states with a core population of 13.7 million people. The Shangai has the maximum possible cores identical to Xibei Sanma, Communist China, China, Yunnan, Guangxi Clique, as well as Manchukuo. How do they achieve it, you might ask? Well, they either have to go for the Yan'an incident, proclaim Arab government, or go for the power struggle focus. Either way, their maximum possible cores look like this, with a maximum core population of well-known 489.99 million people. I'm not gonna lie, now when I look at it, Shangai has a really beautiful color. Moving down a little bit south, our next nation is Siam. Siam starts by coring 4 states with a core population of 14.48 million people. To get the maximum possible cores of Siam, it's really straightforward. You simply have to occupy Laos and Cambodia, after which you'll be able to strengthen the Ratanakosin heritage. This will give you cores in those states, increasing your maximum core population to 20.91 million people. Talking about underwhelming, our next country is Sierra Leone. At the start of the game, they only core the state of Sierra Leone, which has tons of steel now, and a core population of 1.77 million people. Unfortunately, no matter what you do as Sierra Leone, you cannot increase your core population. However, that's not so depressing when you consider the fact that neighboring Liberia has less than half of the population of this country. The next nation that belongs to Hall of Mid is Silesia. Other than no step back, this country serves literally no purpose because neither Germany or Poland can actually release it. They do get to core the states of Niederschlesien, Oberschlesien, as well as Katowice, with a core population of 5.46 million people. They cannot get any extra cores through any decisions or through events or through anything, which means that this is their maximum core population. Still, they're kind of interesting because they do have a democratic leader, whose name is Józef Biniszkiewicz. Also, all of their generic leaders are Polish, even though the only place here which is actually Polish is Katowice. Our next country is Xinjiang. They start with a core population of 4.36 million people spread around in 6 states. Anyway, they are one of, if not the best country in all of China, because they are independent and they also have a good ideology. The only other country which has this in China is Communist China. Plus, on top of that, they can have the most cores. Just like any other warlords, they can core all of the China through one of these 3 focuses. But on top of that, they also get the option to do United Turks decision, which makes them one of the countries with the biggest core populations in the game, coring all of these states with a maximum core population of 507.87 million people. By the way, if you move your capital after you form this, you get a very funny event, a Turkic capital. We shall govern from the old northern capital. Yeah, the old northern Turkic capital. Anyway, if you thought that this episode is not interesting, you're gonna change your mind now, because our next country is Slovakia. At the start of the game, Slovakia cores literally nothing. Even Slovakia isn't cored by Slovakia. However, Slovakia can be spawned by 3 different countries. First one that can spawn them is Czechoslovakia if they go fascist, if they choose the Czech consolidation instead of national fascism. This causes the Slovak rebellion. The second nation that can spawn them is Romania. If they go for the split Czechoslovakia focus, after picking the Balkans dominance path, if Germany accepts, Germany gets to own Czechia, while Slovakia spawns as a puppet of Romania. The third country that can spawn Slovakia is Germany, and we all know about this one. Basically, if they go for the fate of Czechoslovakia, they have 3 options. They can either annex all of Czechoslovakia for themselves, they can give Slovakia to Hungary, or they can do the historical one, which gives this state to Hungary but spawns Slovakia in these 2 states. So let's say that you're playing as Czechoslovakia and you go for the political direction focus. After that you go right, and after you're gonna get enough fascist support, you go for Czech fascism, and then you pick Czech consolidation instead of the national fascism. After you finish that focus, after a couple of days, this will happen. Slovakia rebels against you, they spawn, and they now own and core all of these states. After this, you simply have to capitulate Slovakia, and even though they're gone, their cores stay here, as you can see, which means that you can actually play as Slovakia from this point onwards. Let's just say that you were playing as Slovakia and did some conquering in the meantime, and then Germany decided to go for the fate of Czechoslovakia focus. Germany would only have 2 options, either annexing all of Czechoslovakia or setting up Slovakia as a puppet state. If they do this, Slovakia will become their puppet, and not only that, Slovakia will now core all the states that they previously owned. So let's take this to the most extreme example. What if Slovakia conquered the entire world? Could they core it? Well, if they conquer the entire world, they actually can't core it. But if they conquer the entire world, only letting Germany and Czechoslovakia exist in the 2 states that they already core, which are in Slovakia, then they can core the entire world. At this point, Germany would simply have to finish the fate of Czechoslovakia focus, and then they have to go for the first option. This will actually delete Germany from existence as well as Czechoslovakia. So Slovakia is going to be a puppet of a country which no longer exists, which means that going independent is going to be really annoying, or well, they have to go for a civil war. But they will core the entire world with a maximum core population of 2.07 billion people. Look at that, 25 million manpower on the volunteer only. That's crazy. That's unironically crazy. Our next country is Solomon Islands. At the start of the game, Solomon Islands only core the state of Solomon Islands with a core population of 150,000 people. This, however, can be greatly increased. For that, they have to control New Zealand, Hawaii, Guam, Saipan, Caroline Islands, Samoa, as well as Tahiti. If they control these states, they'll be able to click on Unite Polynesia decision. This will turn them into Polynesia, and then they're gonna core all of these states, with a maximum core population of well-known 7.25 million people. Our next country is Somalia. At the start of the game, Somalia cores all of these states, split between Britain, Italy, France, and Ethiopia, with a core population of 5.14 million people. However, they can get more cores. The only way they can really do it is by doing the Unify the Horn of Africa decision, which will turn them into Horn of Africa and give them cores on all of these states. They'll be able to core even more stuff by clicking on Conquer Socotra, integrate the southern territories, as well as control the Upper Nile decisions. At the end of the day, they're gonna core all of these states with a maximum core population of 21.94 million people. Next country is another African nation, which is South Africa. At the start of the game, South Africa owns and cores all of these states with a core population of 9.75 million people. They can increase their core population by recreating the Zimbabwean Empire. They core like 3 million more people and they get one extra factory, increasing their core population to 13.96 million people. But that's not all. If you start the game with the Africa decolonized preset, South Africa will lose the cores and ownership over Namibia, but they will get to own and core the states of Saint Helena as well as Ascension. And once again they'll be able to recreate the Zimbabwean Empire, increasing their maximum core population from 13.96 to 13.96 million people. They basically only get to core 3,000 more people on these two islands. The next country is Soviet Union. They start with a core population of 161.6 million people, but they also core Tanutuva, which would increase it to 161.69 million people. However, their core population can be greatly increased. You know how Slovakia can core the entire world? Well, guess what? If Poland goes for the secret Polish path, they'll be able to create Slavic Union, which would actually give them all the Slovak cores. Which means that Poland can core the entire world. Why is this relevant, you might ask yourself? Well, basically, when Soviet Union gets Eastern Poland, they get all of these states. Which looks very similar to the modern Eastern Polish border, except for one state, which is Białystok. Basically, if Soviet Union still owns this state but manages to puppet Poland, the decision here will appear. Return states to Polish Soviet Socialist Republic. Basically, for the states to qualify here, they either have to be the state of Białystok or they have to be pure Polish core. The state which is only cored by Poland and no one else. So just say the Soviet Union, you owned all of these states while puppeting Poland in just these 3 states. If you click on this decision, Poland will get an event. The Soviet Union to return Polish territory. First option removes their autonomy but gives them ownership over these states, as you can see right here. The second option, however, gives Poland autonomy, and Poland gets to lose the cores on these states. Instead, they get to claim them. Plus, on top of that, Soviet Union will now core these states. As you can see right here, the Warsaw is cored by Soviet Union, and it's no longer cored by Poland, it's just claimed by Poland. Since Poland can core the entire world could literally be turned into pure Polish states. For that, you would have to release yourself as other countries maybe like 50 or even 100 times, but it's actually possible to pull off. Although it's a very tedious task, Soviet Union can still core all the states that Poland can core, which means that they can core the entire world, which means that their maximum core population is also 2.07 billion people. Next nation is also very schizo, and that's Spain. Spain has a core population of 24.75 million people, which can be greatly increased. In other words, they can core the entire world. And no, I'm not talking about the Global Defense Council. Global Defense Council can under no circumstances core these impossible states, which contain about 2 million people, most of which are located in this state in Niger. It's simple really, you simply have to do a war conquest of Spain before the Civil War even begins. When the Civil War begins, you have to go for the United Nationalist Front path, after which you have to rush to fuse the party's focus. You basically have to finish it before you end the Civil War. In the meantime, the anarchists will rise up, make sure to take them out, and after that take out the Republic in Spain. After the war ends, you'll notice that Spain cores the entire world. Only things that it don't core is actually Spain itself, as well as Gibraltar. Well, for some reason you core it. Now you have to release yourself as Spain, but you cannot do it directly. Instead, what you need to do, you need to release yourself as some other country. Just make sure it's not Portugal. After you release yourself as the other country, release yourself as Spain. Then you simply have to attack the nationalist Spain, and then you just need to capitulate them, which is actually easy. Even though they control the entire world, you really just need to occupy these states in order to capitulate them. After this, you have to annex them and liberate Portugal in the peace deal. In the meantime, Portugal would have to go for a popular front, after which they'll be able to bypass these focuses, and then finish the Iberian Socialist Union focus. This turns them into Iberia and gives them cores on all of Iberia. You will also get an event, the Iberian Socialist Union. Now, you have to pick the first option, but here's the thing. Before you pick it, you go here, Basque Country, Release Nation, Play As, Retain Statesboro Core. And you can still click on this option. This makes Portugal annex Spain, giving them cores on pretty much the entire world. Now, this does something cool as well. Spain will finally core Gibraltar. Now, all you have to do as Basque Country is, well, take out Iberia. I'm not kidding, you have to take out Iberia. After this, you have to annex Iberia fully, and if you want to reach the maximum core population as Spain, you simply have to release yourself as a random country once again, and then once again release yourself as Spain, which is right here. And now you have to attack the Basque Country and capitulate them. And just like that, you reached your maximum core population. No, You didn't. So what you need to do now is finish Stabilize the Nation focus, which will unlock all the goofy guerrilla decisions, which will let you core the entirety of Spain, finally coring the entire world and reaching the core population of 2.07 billion people. I said I'm gonna get back to Brazil, and now I'm gonna do it. How do you get the maximum possible cores as Brazil? You have to do exactly the same things like I did for Spain, up until the war conquest as Basque country. Then instead of releasing Spain, you simply have to release yourself as Iberia. At this point, all you really need to do is to release yourself as Brazil, go for the monarchist path, and go for the United Kingdoms of Brazil and Portugal. And now Portugal simply has to say yes, which in this case they did. Typically this just gives you cores on Madeira, Azores, and mainland Portugal, but this time you're gonna core literally everything, with a maximum core population of 2.07 billion people. Our next country is Sudan. At the start of the game, Sudan cores all of the modern-day Sudan and South Sudan, with a core population of 5.7 million people. No matter what you do as Sudan, unfortunately, you cannot increase your core population. Our next country is the nearby Sultanate of Aussa. At the start of the game, Sultanate of Aussa owns the state of Afar with a core population of 560,000 people. However, they also core the states of Fellow in Ethiopia and French Somaliland, which is occupied by, well, you guessed it, France. But that's not all. If they finish the focus Chronic of the Nagusa Nagant, they can core all the Ethiopia's cores that they occupy at the time. Let's not forget that Ethiopia can core all of these states through the African Union, but if they're not aligned or fascist, and if they owned the state of Palestine, they'll be able to make Jerusalem the capital of the empire. If after this you would play a Sultanate of Aussa and get to annex Ethiopia, making sure to control all of their core states, and if then you finish Crowning of the Nagusa Nagant focus, Ethiopia is gonna lose all of their cores on these states, and instead you're gonna core them yourself. Increasing your core population to 151.1 million people, and having a very cool name if you're fascist. I think this is the coolest African nation. After our next country, Sweden, you have to go monarchist. If you work your way down the focus tree, you'll be able to finish the focus Der Stornordiska Riket. First things first, you'll be able to integrate Finland, Norway, Denmark and Iceland, giving you cores on all of their starting states. If you control Hanover, Mecklenburg, all of Latvia, all of Estonia, as well as the states of Luga and Leningrad, you'll be able to proclaim restoration of the Swedish Empire. This one doesn't give you an extra course, but it unlocks the Proclaim the Eternal Nordic Empire decision. Besides controlling previously required territories, you also have to control French India, Ghana, French Caribbean state, as well as New Jersey. At the end of the day, your course will look very random, with a maximum core population of 32.51 million people. Biggest crime here is the fact that instead of Vorpommern, you core Mecklenburg. The next country is Switzerland. At the start of the game, Switzerland has a core population of 4.22 million people, which can be greatly increased. You have to work your way down the focus tree, ban the foreign N-word propaganda, then go for the Allied Gold, Gotthardbund, and then press 4 for Alberg. But instead of going for the preempt Anschluss, which will make you pretty strong because you'll be able to annex Austria and core them and get lots of factories, you instead have to go for the new Eidgenossenschaft. After this you have to finish the magical focus called Expand the Confederation. Now you might be wondering, what does this focus do? It unlocks a bunch of decisions, as you can see right here. It's kind of buggy, but usually if you border a state, you'll be able to actually do this decision for it. Now this costs a lot of political power, and the worst part, it costs lots of time. First decision takes 3 months and has 2 outcomes. First outcome is the good one, which is usually about 30% chance of happening. Thanks to our influence, this state wants to join our fold. What does this do? This gives you claim on the state. And that unlocks the next decision. Press France for that state. As you can see, there's also a bad outcome, which is we did not influence this state enough. You just lose your political power and your time, and you have to do it again. Anyway, when you influence a state, you'll be able to click on this decision, and this gives them an ultimatum. They can either say yes or no. If they say yes, you'll get to own the state and it's going to be core by you. If they say no, you lose the claim, but you get the core. At the end of the day, Switzerland can core all of these states. The more notable places that they cannot core with the bigger population are Cuba, Jamaica, Madagascar, Ceylon, Sulawesi, Cebu, and also Taiwan. In total, they can core 2.03 billion. Our next country is Syria. At the start of the game, Syria cores 4 states with a core population of 2.43 million people. To get maximum possible cores, just like Saudi Arabia, they have to unite Arabia, and once again, just like Arabia, their cores will look like this, with a maximum core population of, once again, 48.14 million people. And we're moving on to our last country of the day, that's Sapmi. If you're wondering why it's the last one, well, because the second letter isn't actually A, it's the special character. At the start of the game, Sapmi cores 11 states spread around Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Soviet Union, with a core population of 1.67 million people. To get maximum possible core population, they simply have to proclaim the Nordic unity, for which they already have to occupy the entirety of Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland and Denmark. At the end of the day, their cores look like this, which is basically the Nordic formable plus the state of Murmansk, with a maximum core population of 17.48 million people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next one. And bye.